Welcome to another episode of The Inquisitive Analyst. I'm your host, Marcus Utikang. It's the show where we chat about business analysis and project management issues and the challenges and triumphs within those fields. It's inspiring, informative, and very much inquisitive. My guest today is an astounding business analysis entrepreneur. She's a huge BA advocate and a global business analysis coach and speaker. She's also founder of the Business Analysis School, and she is a director of education at the IIBA Calgary Chapter. So please help me welcome to today's show, joining us all the way from Calgary, Canada, Eno Eka. Welcome, Eno.
Thank you, Marcus. I'm so glad to be here on the Inquisitive Analyst show.
Well, I'm so glad to have you on the show. Now, I have to ask you a few questions.
Yes.
As I do all my guests on the show. And we all know that the first question is the most poignant of all. You are a new immigrant to Canada. You came here about 3 years ago or so, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how did you get into business analysis in Canada?
I started my business analysis career back in my home country, Nigeria, before I even moved to Canada. I used to be an accountant, studied accounting, did that for a bit, and I just wanted something more. So I was looking for a new path that didn't require me to go back to school, that I could leverage the skills experience I already had. And I found business analysis, 2 courses, certifications, and all of that to start in this career path. And thankfully, when I moved to Canada, I realized that this was where there was a lot of opportunities for me as a BA, because there weren't a lot back home in Nigeria. It was still so much of a new career path. There wasn't a lot of widespread knowledge about business analysis. But moving to Canada, it opened up those opportunities for me. I could, work anywhere, use the skills experience I already had. And, that's really how I started my career in Canada as a business analyst. I'm thankful that I actually started my journey before I moved here, because what I see with a lot of people who come here is, there's that struggle to make that transition. If you hadn't started it before, because you probably have to go back, take a course, learn. Some people have to go back to school, things like that. But grateful that, I started my career in Nigeria. And when I moved to Canada, everything just, worked together. So that's really how that worked out for me.
Fantastic. And you've actually come quite far, because since coming to Canada, you've obviously joined the IIBA Calgary Chapter, which I'm also a part of. And you're also director of education. So what maybe you can give the audience an idea of what that role encompasses.
For sure. I joined the Calgary chapter immediately. I actually came to Calgary. I think my first week in Calgary, I joined the chapter, looked up the chapter, joined, went for their first meeting. And I really liked the people who were members of the chapter. They were welcoming. They were actually practicing business analysts. And I knew I could learn a lot from them. Started volunteering with, helping with events, moved into the study group by being a study group leader. And of course, progressed into the role of director of education. So in my role, my portfolio covers everything that has to do with the advancement of BA professionals. Under my portfolio, we have the study group. So in the study group, we help our members, who want to get certified through IIBA core certifications, ECBA, CCBA, the CBAP. We also have the Agile study group, where we come together to actually study to help our members get certifications. I also help members who are trying to get recertified with giving them the knowledge and understanding of how to keep their certification every 3 years with recertification. We also have the mentoring aspect to education. So for aspiring BAs or junior BAs who are looking for mentorship, to grow in their careers, we assign them to mentors in the chapter who they meet with weekly, they share their goals, and they build a plan, with their mentors. So mentorship is also a part of that portfolio. And then we have the academic outreach. So with academic outreach is we partner with academic institutions, colleges, universities, endorsed education providers, EEPs, training institutes that provide business analysis training, project management training, anything that relates to business analysis. We see how we can partner with them for our members who are probably interested in continuing education, or other ways where they could also become a sponsor of the chapter and support the advancement of business analysis. So that's what my role as Director of Education includes. And so anything that has to do with the advancement of our members when it comes to their knowledge and growing as business analysts.
Nice. So if one wants to join IIBA Calgary or any IIBA, how can one go about doing that?
Fantastic. Well, the great thing is right now, once you become a global member of the IIBA, so if you go to www.iiba.org and you choose a membership, which is an individual membership, you would actually be assigned to any chapter based on your address. So based on your address and your postcode, you will be assigned to the chapter, closest to you. And because of that, you would now have that, community that's close to you, people you can meet with in person or virtually, learn and network with them. Before you would need to register with the global IIBA and then the chapter, but now it's unified, which makes it fantastic. And you can have access to all the chapter resources from one unified platform. So that's the fantastic thing about it. So if you are in the Calgary environs, once you join the global IIBA, you will be assigned to the chapter, immediately.
Sure. Okay. Actually, that's good to know. And I found that out not too long ago.
Yeah.
Because I had to pay the global fee, then I had to pay the fee for IIBA Calgary. Now, yes. I think it's only one fee, but I think it's
one fee.
Yeah, it's one fee now, but I think instead of $40 each, it's $70 or $80 for one. I don't know what it is now, but it's
I think it's per region. I know for the the North American region, I think it's $139 or something.
Okay.
And that includes the global and the chapter. So you get global benefits and all the chapter benefits as well.
Cool. Nice. Sweet. Fantastic. Now, I know that you're also an instructor at the University of Manitoba. In the province of Winnipeg. We tend to call, actually, I've been to the University of Manitoba. It's in Winnipeg, often referred to as Winterpeg because it's
Winterpeg, yes.
So cold there. And so what type of courses do you teach at the University of Manitoba?
Oh, University of Manitoba has definitely been a vital part of my journey. In a couple of months of being in Canada, I was a part of the people that were selected to actually help the university to actually start their certificate in business analysis under their extended education. So this was for professionals who wanted to continue education. So my start with University of Manitoba was first developing the course content, right? We wanted to make sure that the certificate also was going to give the students the units so that they could go ahead to get their maybe CBAP or CCBA certifications afterwards. So we developed that content for a while. And after developing the content, I was asked by the university if I was open to teaching. I'm like, yeah, of course, why not? And they're like, well, who better than the people who set this up, right, to actually teach? So I have taught different courses like fundamentals of business analysis, elicitation and collaboration, strategy analysis. What we tried to do was to make sure that the core courses for that program were around the business analysis knowledge area, as you could tell, so that's what we did. So I teach any of them, and I've taught a couple of those courses. And then, of course, we definitely have other electives that they could select. So those are the courses. And with the way it's structured, I could pick any courses I want to teach each semester. So that's how it works. Yeah. Nice.
Fantastic. I think I almost got a teaching position at Red River College in Winnipeg. That was a long, long time ago, but I ended up working at Seneca College instead. But great place, fantastic place to work. Yeah. Now, you're probably what one might refer to as the quick Canadian success story, or maybe even the epitome of a great Canadian success story. Yeah. So, like I mentioned, you came here about 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And you've also founded this company, Business Analysis School. Maybe you can tell us a bit about the company and what services it provides.
For sure. So I founded the Business Analysis School, and this came about with the huge demand of people who wanted to transition careers. in this part of the world, which is, there's a lot of, high number of immigrants coming in, every day. A lot of immigrants, don't want to continue the same path back home, or they're looking for career paths that would probably get them much more fulfillment, right? And there's a huge demand for business analysis. And because of that, we decided to create that community and environment where professionals who already had experience back home, they already had the skill sets that would make them great BAs, just needed that to upskill, learn the frameworks, the techniques, and, probably get their certification. So that's what we do with the Business Analysis School. We help professionals who want to transition into business analysis, agile project management, product management through our courses and programs. They learn how to use their existing skills and experience. They learn the frameworks and tools. They get that practical hands-on knowledge with the tools and techniques, which I find a lot of people were always scared of all of that. But, of course, at the end, they get to realize that it's actually, not as hard as we thought it would be. And then, of course, prepare them for those roles, which usually is the biggest struggle, is that confidence. And can I really do it? My experience back home might not be the same. So giving them that confidence and teaching them how to get their resumes done right, their LinkedIn profiles, preparing for the interviews and all of that. And then giving them the support, afterwards, right? After they get the job, how to support them those early days, on the job. You remember how your early days were. There's that fear, your heart is beating so fast because you don't know, right? If you're going to do good at it. So having that support system is what we give them through the Business Analysis School. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, there's so many differences between, say, Canada and many other countries in the world. So just being able to adapt can become a challenge for some people.
Exactly.
So actually talking about some of these challenges, what do you think are some of the hurdles that new immigrants to Canada face in the workforce, and how can they perhaps overcome some of these hurdles?
Definitely. There are a lot of things like the culture shocks for sure, especially for someone like me who came from somewhere in Nigeria where the workplace culture was very different. Learning how to work with your colleagues and still be able to voice out your opinions, share. There were some times when that you couldn't talk to your boss and give your opinion or share or criticize something. So learning to be outspoken, to share, to open up is something that immigrants struggle with. A lot of immigrants also have this imposter syndrome about, am I good enough? Because they don't have that experience already. You come into an organization and, people there already know themselves. They're speaking, with the company jargons and things like that. And you feel out of place. Sometimes you're the only Black person at work if you are, someone who's a person of color. And I've been in that situation a lot of times. And that alone, if you're not confident in yourself and your skills and the value you bring to the table, might definitely make you feel a bit uncomfortable. So, being confident, that confidence is such a game changer when you're confident in your skills and your values and your experience. And that's why I tell a lot of immigrants that, try to surround yourself with people who would, help you bring up that confidence that you need at work. And then, also is accents and language. I've had people reach out to me in private and ask me, how are you able to do this? I see you speaking a lot, I see you on, speaking at events and stages, you're able to grow so fast in your career, leading teams and all of that. Didn't you ever feel, some kind of way because you're a Nigerian and, you definitely would have that Nigerian accent and all of that? I'm like, well, it's easy for anyone to feel that way because I'm not Canadian or anything like that. But I feel like owning, what makes you, different, that's strength in our diversity. Owning what makes you different. I never hesitate to introduce myself, share where I come from, and when I moved to Canada and what I do, right? Because I want that person to understand that, I might sound different from you, but, I'm still bringing value to the table. As long as I can speak English and you understand what I'm saying, I think that's fine. Especially for our immigrants as well, who English isn't their first language. when I've worked with all these people, of course, I'm patient. I listen to them. They might speak slowly, but also being able to embrace that they're actually speaking a language that's not their first language, right? So a lot of those kind of things are things that could actually make a lot of immigrants feel less confident in themselves. Those could be challenges that they might face. The biggest elephant in the room is that Canadian experience that a lot of new immigrants face as well. I was also told I didn't have the experience and I wasn't going to be moved forward to the next step of the interview process. I mean, that really hurts me, being that I knew that, I could have done very well in that interview. I was a good fit for that role. But with the recruiter telling me that I didn't have local BA experience working in Canada, that he wouldn't put me forward for the role, I did feel very bad. And that's something that a lot of new immigrants face. Mm-hmm. They're told that there's so many opportunities, here, and that when they come, they're told that, their skills are in demand and all of that. And when they get here, the employers say, well, yes, we do want to hire someone with these skill sets, but we want someone who has the local skill sets, right? Forgetting that, the foreign experience that person brings to the table is still relevant. In fact, that person is bringing fresh ideas, new perspectives, and that's what we need in the workplace. We need diversity in the workplace. And diversity is not just skin or color or accent. Diversity is in thought, in ideas, in thinking, challenging the norm, right? That's diversity. So all of these things are the things that immigrants face. And I started speaking up about it very early in my days, here in Canada, using LinkedIn as an opportunity to share my challenges, share what I was facing, and actually speak against the challenges that other immigrants were facing. And being able to speak about it also drew a lot of attention to that. And I've been able to work with some immigrant agencies to help other immigrants who are definitely struggling with these challenges too.
Nice. Yeah, I think it happens with many people. When I worked in China, it was something similar. For example, the workers, when you tell workers what to do, the expectation is that they're told what to do. It's not a matter of asking them what to do. And so if you don't do that, if you're not authoritative or you appear authoritative, the workers won't take you seriously. Wow. And that happens in many countries in the world, right? So the idea of being innovative and creative is not really in demand in some places, or if it is, it's in a slightly different way than it is in Canada.
Yeah, so, that's so true.
Actually, on the subject of immigrants, any advice for new immigrants entering Canada on how they can transition into a business analysis career?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely have loads of advice for them. So before you even come into Canada, I really advise a lot of immigrants, if you want to transition into a business career, try to start the journey before you even arriving prepared. There's nothing more than coming with at least, the skill sets, the knowledge that you need. So if you're going to say move to Toronto or move to Vancouver, I would be, looking at the job opportunities there, looking at the job descriptions, seeing, okay, what are the things that are missing out for me, doing like a SWOT analysis on yourself and saying, what are the things missing out for me and how can I upskill right now before I even get there, right? Are there some certifications in demand? Can I quickly take those ones? So that would be like quick wins for me. Are there some tools that they probably use? Maybe I could learn them. Are there some techniques that are quite popular, right? Can I learn those? And that what does is it sets you apart before you even arrive, because at the point of arrival, you definitely have checked a lot of the boxes, and that, sort of sets you apart. So, make sure you arrive prepared. Don't think that when I arrive, I can start, because what happens is once you arrive, you start to pay your own bills, phone bills, utility bills, rent. A lot of times new immigrants have to pay their rent up front. I had to do that, right? Because you don't have an income. So you want to make sure that you position yourself in a way that, after a couple of, weeks or months of, doing interviews, you can say that I would get a job in my field, compared to saying I want to arrive and then start learning and start my trainings or start learning things. That would take a longer time for you to achieve the success you want. We're looking at about 12 to 18 months if you want to go that path. Right? Networking is so huge. try to make sure you network with people, right? Learn from people's experiences, like this YouTube channel, right? Binge watching this YouTube channel alone would give you so much knowledge, like so much, right? Because, like Marcus has spoken to, he's spoken to every person, that you say is a thought leader in, this BAPM space. And you would learn so much from these people. So, YouTube channels like this, LinkedIn, right? Blogs, a lot of thought leaders share their thoughts through blogs, LinkedIn, podcasts, YouTube, right? So learn from them and then follow them as well and learn from them. And then find people who are doing the same thing like you. Probably they are from your home country and they already have success in this career path, like business analysis. Look at their profiles. What have they done? What are the things they like to talk about? What are the kind of groups they join? What are their interests, right? And then find ways to build connections with those people. Don't ask people for jobs, but actually learn from them. Seek ways to have these informational interviews. Is something that I used when I was coming in. Was I reached out to people who were similar to me, probably Nigerians, Africans, immigrants who had that non-traditional background, being that I didn't study anything IT or tech. I moved from accounting. So I was looking out for people who did the same, who moved into business analysis without, because someone who is a computer engineering, degree holder, he might not need to, go through all of that hurdle, but someone who transitioned, that person really understands. So looking out for those kind of people, building relationships with them, learning from their experiences was so valuable. I don't think any degree would have taught me anything that I learned from those people. And you would agree that that's like a way to sort of fast track, your path. And then also that, builds a network for you. People know what you offer, what values you're bringing to the table. And, they keep their ears to the ground for opportunities for you without you even asking them, so those are things I advise. And then, build your confidence. A lot of times your confidence might be really low because you sort of know that you don't have the skill sets, right? You don't have what it takes to perform on that role. So why don't you eliminate that by actually learning, putting out time to learn, opening up yourself to continuous improvement? Those are some things you can take away right now and start implementing right now into your journey as you start to make that transition.
Nice. Good. I was going to say, that's the big thing, is confidence when you come to a new country, and getting that response from an interviewer that says you don't have Canadian experience or you don't have Canadian education is another one.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, and one way to overcome that is a lot of people go to college just to get a quick certificate over a year and a half, 2 years, or they'll do a CBAP, right, certification, or take a course with a company like yours.
Yeah.
That way they can at least say they've got experience within Canada.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty good. Sure. So let's talk a bit about Agile and Waterfall as a BA. And if we're a new immigrant or even just a new person on the job, a new BA on the job, and they've been given a fresh project, right? What are some recommended steps, say, that they could take to effectively document high-level requirements? Whether you're in Waterfall or Agile, any recommendations for that?
For sure. There's a lot of things that I would definitely recommend. First things first, whether it's Agile or Waterfall, right? The business, definitely there is a goal, right, for that project. So what's the goal, right? What's the vision? Is there like a vision document, where we have listed the vision and what we want to achieve? Is there a scope document where we're talking about what's in or out of scope for this project? Are there any existing documentation at all, or it's, starting from fresh? Are we building upon something existing, upgrading something new, or upgrading something existing, or buying something new? What are we doing? So those documents would, give you some fresh perspective. But, as a business analyst, there are some key questions you need to, start asking. And in business analysis, we call it the core concept model. And we use the core concept model to ask those questions like, what is this change, right? Because the truth is, a lot of projects, they're actually change. So why are we carrying out this change? What's the need here? And what's the business need? Is it an opportunity or a problem? Right? Because a need can be a problem or an opportunity. So why are we doing this? So you start to ask these questions, and as you ask these questions, you get answers, which are your requirements, and you start to document them, right? You could use formal or informal means to get this information. You start to document them. And then once you know that, well, if we know what the need is, then what is the solution that we're trying to use to solve, this problem or to achieve this need, right? Is it going to be something new? Are we going to buy it? Are we going to build it? Are we going to upgrade what we have? Should we even buy? Should we even spend money? Maybe we should do nothing. Right. So, those are the questions you should start asking, as the BA, and documenting everything, as you go. Of course, understanding who your stakeholders are, because that's also very important. These are the people you're going to be working with, the people you're going to, deliver a solution to, the people who are impacted by the project, the people who, would have opinions, would have a say in your project. So identifying who your stakeholders are very early in the project will also help you with knowing who to ask the right questions, because when you know the right people, you will be able to ask the right questions and get their buy-in as quickly as possible. So knowing who your stakeholders are is so important. And then based on knowing your stakeholders, well, what is of value to my stakeholders, right? Because stakeholder A might have a different interest in the project from stakeholder B. So, knowing what's in it for everybody, and knowing how to now approach everyone and communicate with them based on, their level of influence, their level of impact in the project is so key. And you need to know this early enough in the project so that, what level of detail am I going to be communicating with these people? Do I want to make sure I'm monitoring them for their attitudes? I want to make sure that I'm keeping them highly satisfied all through the project. Do I want to make sure that I'm keeping them up to date with all the status updates of the project, because they're very sensitive, so you want to know who your stakeholders are and what is of value to them and how to communicate with them. And then, of course, you want to understand, what is impacting this project? Is it, through an internal change? Maybe we're experiencing the change right now in our organization, and we're looking to, focus on some new business goals. We're trying to launch a new product, or it's probably something that's external. Maybe we're trying to, meet up with a regulatory policy, something like that, or a government policy has come up. So whatever it is, you want to understand if it's internal or external, so you know who you're going to be working with and how you can attain that. And as you learn all these things, you document them, immediately. And of course, from your stakeholders, that's where all your requirements will start to come from. The business gives you their requirements, the stakeholders give you their requirements, and you start to document them. And it's really just writing them down at first. It doesn't have to be granular, because of course you will still go back to them and have, further meetings and things like that. But at first, all these questions you're asking will give you all the information that you need to get going with your project.
Fantastic. Very thoroughly answered. I was going to say, looking at the core concept model is amazing. And some people might even ask a trainer like yourself or someone else, what type of questions do I ask? And I've always, some people have asked me that question. And I've said, why don't you pick up a book called the Business Analyst Handbook? And the reason why is because it very explicitly tells you, if you're in the requirements process, these are the types of questions you can ask. You're not gonna ask all those questions. You might ask one or two, but the point is they've given you sample questions for just about every step in that core concept model. And that can be a biggie too, especially if you're new on a project or even new as a business analyst. People will ask, what kind of questions am I going to ask? Yeah,
of course. And I always tell new BAs that, your job, you're supposed to ask questions. If you're not asking questions, you're not getting the job done, right? So do not be scared to ask questions. You're being paid to do that. You're being paid to ask those questions, right? Because it's through asking those questions that you get more information, and that's how you document your requirements. That's how you learn more about the project and the people you're working with. So for the new BAs out there, do not be scared to ask those questions. Just like Marcus said, there are different questions you would ask at different stages of the project. But of course, these are things that you learn as you understand your environment and the people you work with, because you would also need to adapt your communication style to your different stakeholders.
That's very important too. Yeah, you don't want to be asking the wrong question to the wrong person.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of questions. I've always asked a lot of questions the first maybe 30, 60 days, maybe even up to 90 days. After that, because they say there's no question like a stupid, there's no such thing as a stupid question.
Yeah.
But I think after 90 days, there's some questions that you probably
Oh, yeah, for sure. You can't be asking, what is this change we're doing? What is the business need? No, not at all.
Yeah. Once you're knee deep in it, then it's just, you still ask questions, but they're slightly more inquisitive, maybe.
Definitely.
That's awesome. So I was going to say, it's been awesome having you on the show. Any way that anyone from the audience wants to get in touch with you, how can they do so?
Yeah, for sure. So I am my best social media platform is LinkedIn. I am, always on LinkedIn. So you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Eno Eka on LinkedIn. My personal website is enoeka.com. Want to learn more about business analysis and growing your career in business analysis, whether as a new BA or an existing BA who wants to grow their thought leadership, then check out the Business Analysis School. Check out the website where you can find out more information right there.
Businessanalysisschool.com, is it?
Yeah, businessanalysisschool.com, yes. Businessanalysisschool.com or Business Analysis School on, I think we have Instagram and LinkedIn as well. Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Fantastic. Well, thanks. It's been very informative, very inquisitive. And,
yes.
And great to finally meet you, because we've been chatting for quite a while on LinkedIn. So that's good to see you in person. Fantastic. Well, thanks for a wonderful session. Have yourself a fantastic day. It's piping hot out there, plus 26 in Calgary, which is rare.
Yeah.
So enjoy it while you got it.
Yes, thank you so much, Marcus. Have a wonderful day ahead. Bye, everyone.
You too. All right, take care. Bye.
And now a word from our sponsors. The Lewis Institute provides an enterprise project management program that does more than just train PMs. It helps support them from the CEO level on down. These courses help certify project leaders and prepare them to pass the PMP exam. The Business Agility Institute provides Emergence, the Journal of Business Agility. This quarterly publication brings you inspiring stories from the most innovative companies. Use the promo code ANALYST to get a 10% discount on your annual subscription.